Okay, here we are in the grand finals of the Infolet number 2 2v2 tournament. And this will star in our red infernal here. Red, see, they got the colors mixed up. Is that red or orange? I can't tell. This is Elazer, and his partner is Mixu on team Mixu and Elazer. And their opponents, Team afterMath, starring TheoRy in the blue and albino in the teal. And this is going to be a rematch of the winners bracket finals. And Mixu and Elazer making it through the losers bracket finals as well to earn their spot here in the grand finals. And once again, we saw this last game. We got this harassment of the worker. Is it going to go down? That imp goes down and a fiend gets claimed, but the dog goes down as well, and we have a teleporting out of their Hexen. So, not a fair trade. A 7 hit point fiend is not a fair trade for a dog necessarily, although they did kill the imp as well, so maybe with the imp kill, that might be worth it. And we see that Albino's dog was trying to be a little bit of a jerk there too. But it didn't appear to get a kill, at least not that I saw. Trying to maybe get that 7 hit point fiend. You just chomp it. You chomp it. Oh, I missed. Oh. It's on a super run. Let's see who's gonna win. Oh, and the Gaunts come. There's some Fellhog saying, "Get away from my fiend." I love it. And that fiend, of course, getting on the shroud, managing to get 2 more hit points of that shroud skin before running back out saying, "I'm healthy enough, I don't need shroud skin, I'm good." Where are you going? Oh, you're just joining the rest of your fiend force. Fiend force 5. A couple gaunts joining up there as well. And where's this imp going? Well, looks like TheoRy cleaned out this camp. Where are you going, Mr. Imp? A shroud stone. Okay. Okay. We got 2 racks and it looks like a biokinetic slab coming down from albino. We got an extra shrine here and we are on Vault Conclave with 2 workers on Therium here. Back home for Mixu, we got a single racks here. While yeah, that's just a habitat it looks like. And Vault Conclave as well, with Ritual Chamber and Plague Axe is almost completed. No expansion here. Hanging out near this forward Shroud Stone. Oh, it looks like this might be a Creeping the Tower Shroud Stone. And wow, these units just happen to walk right by as this is going on. And they're going to go and try and take out the Bruiser, while these other ones, what are they called? The Cleavers are going to be taken out by TheoRy. I know the Bruiser because that one punches my fiends and gaunts really hard and they die. So I know that one very well. And now we've kind of got these armies regrouped, although the only units that we're seeing from Mixu here is a dog and a lancer. But they are moving across the map to be a little aggressive, it looks like. And there are these sort of units that are a little cut off for TheoRy and albino that are trying to also regroup up on the top level there. That shrine comes up producing shroud. There's also a buzzsaw cannon there. It looks like there's going to be a sentry post trying to go down here, and it does. It gets down and there's a buzzsaw cannon here as well, and that's going to be enough to push back this force from Elazer and Mixer. A nice emo death knell for that effigy there as it dies saying "War's Lines." Kind of like that bug, and I want it to stay forever. Just turn the volume down a bit because it's a little loud in my ears. But effigies, when they die, should always just lament existence in some kind of existential way. Like, oh me, oh my. This Shroud Stone just hanging out in the middle of the map now. And Mixu's come taking this, but yeah, are they going to go deal with this? Okay, we'll just take it out. This is kind of a strange choice. Like, this Shroud Stone's unlikely to, you know, have any impact on any matches or any combat that might be going on the map, unless of course we get to a much later game where there's been an expansion out here. We see TheoRy dropping an effigy there, keeping that shroud, and actually Mixu did not turn to kind of take it out because it does have 200 hit points. It looks like albino's been chasing these gaunts all the way back to the main here, and now they're on top of some overcharged bobs. Now they do some really good area or line attack. If they can get on those bobs and attack them, although they want to be on the gaunts, and I think they're backing up to just try and get a better position. The gaunts move forward now, but we're getting a nice little squish between two forces, and a couple of those lancers get caught. A few of them with their speedy kinetic redirection are able to zip out of there, but at the same time TheoRy's moved up the other ramp, and he's doing a battle here. His forces are actually, it looks like they're going to be outnumbered here. There's just a lot of orange. That's just a lot of Elazer's brutes and gaunts, and so TheoRy decides to retreat, and so do the lancers, I think. So it was a nice calculated push, but there was just a lot of infernal response here. Now we got the med tech inside the sentry post, makes a med station. That's just like a little local healing camp for you. Super good, and all those infernal units just love that. Let me soak up on those juices and get all back to full health. Little hokey pokey dance around this tower here. And where are these lancers? These lancers are trying to take this tower. That's pretty close, so we're starting to see a response. And one of the things we're seeing here are Gravens. That sticky bomb goes down, but it's going to miss everything. That's lucky. Actually, these lancers decided to just go walk around in it anyways. Why not? I think you only get the slow debuff if you walk on it after you've been hit, but if you get caught in it, there's also some damage from the sticky bomb. And I really am loving that Gravens have sort of made a appearance late in this patch for Vanguard, especially in Vanguard versus Infernal. It's becoming more of a mainstay, and that's because those sticky bombs can be pretty good. Not to mention the infiltrate power. If you can get them in and infiltrate on a base, you can lock down the top down. That's what we're seeing here. If you do it on a shrine, oh, nice sticky bombs. Blah. Nice sticky bomb. But if you do it on a shrine like that, it locks down your top bar abilities, so your opponent can't use their top bar abilities. For instance, like summoning a Shroud Stone. So it can be really helpful in a push. Not to mention as harass. It's great harass. Alright, we're seeing a little bit of a skirmish down here. Albino and TheoRy trying to position a way that they might get a flank, but now, ooh, huge sticky bomb on those lancers. And it looks like one of those lancers went down as a result. Do a ton of damage. And unfortunately, that means they're forced to fight here because they're just caught in this mass. This is a terrible place for them to fight on this choke. There's too many melee units here that you want to be able to get a nice kind of surround. Look at all that flow from those sticky bombs. This is just really awful for TheoRy's unit. Albino's units have mostly been cleaned up, and it looks like Mixu and Elazer are going to be doing a good job with this comp. Although we do have battle cruisers showing up, or I should say helicarriers, because that's what they really are. And they don't seem to have a bombing run available yet, or at least they haven't launched one. They're still kind of nasty. There's a bombing run. Not the best hit. We do see a few gaunts going down there. But this force has moved right back up into the base. We see an infiltrate going down on that barracks, meaning it can't produce anymore. And that barracks goes down with the biokinetic slab is also getting infiltrated. This force from Mixu and Elazer is doing some pretty serious damage. That battlecruiser up top is hoping that it can maybe turn the tides. We now see a bunch of bobs trying to repair it to keep it alive. But the gaunts are, well, the gaunts are just right on top. But it looks like they might be pushed back. The battlecruisers, TheoRy's got some of his own units mixed in there. It's hard to tell which infernal units are which. We hear the death cries of a bunch of Gravens, and that's got to be bad news for this push. Gravens, of course, you want to keep alive. So if they're dying, that means maybe a lot of your front line's gone down. Now the Gravens are trying to do a little kite. Sticky bombs, of course, slowing the units down, making that even easier to kite and get that damage done. Turning to fight these fiends. It's always great if you can knock out those fiends if you're in a retreating army, because those fiends will just sit on you and do damage to that tail end of your force. Here we have an interesting force. Sentinels and Graven moving out around the bottom here. There's a fiend here trying... Ooh. Fiend gets taken out. Helicarrier force moving out on the map. I'm not sure how Gravens do against Helicarriers, because Gravens get bonus against light. So I don't think that's a good choice. And boom, double. See, we see double sticky bomb killed one of those Lancers. And we now have some Hedgehogs sieged up, but they just get fully wiped by a bombing run. So that's an interesting unit interaction that I did not know about. But I guess we got 4 Helicarriers here. The bombing runs from 4 Helicarriers is enough to take out sieged up Hedgehogs. Manifest Shroudstone here trying to defend this base. But the Helicarriers and this smaller force from TheoRy as well are content to just push in. Although these Gaunts coming from the left, getting on top of the Helicarriers, we've got Plague Breath going down on them, but they are... actually, look at them go down to these fiends now. Luckily, the fiends are these fiends. There's 2 different kinds: the red fiends, orange fiends. Orange fiends. These are orange fiends. That means they're Elazer's fiends. They came in and were able to help defend those Gaunts. TheoRy's force is looking kind of small, to be honest. Here, he's got that dragon, which is great. But I think he lost a lot of Gaunts in some of those earlier pushes. Hasn't really restabilized yet. Meanwhile, it's more battle cruisers. 3 more battle cruisers on the map. Some infiltrates going down. Infiltrate on the Shroudstone so it can't fire. Sticky bombs on the imps. Almost all those imps going down. They're trying to flame on, but they're just so slow. They're just tiny little slow imps. They can't flame on. They just detonate on some fiends, which I guess is better than nothing. But this snowball of fiends and Gaunts on top of TheoRy's army. Although, look at that bombing run. Where did those Gaunts go? Where did they go? There are no more Gaunts. But there are still a lot of fiends. And the fiends are doing damage. TheoRy's hoping that he can get some traction with his dragon and his Gaunts. But it looks like there's just too much here. Even with those bombing runs. Elazer's army is just moving up the ramp, it looks like. That doesn't seem great. There's so many Fellhogs there. But a couple of Gaunts making it inside the base. And then another bombing run out here. We got a massive shield. I'm not sure what kind of shield that is, actually. I don't think I've seen that one before. It kind of looks like the shield that you get on a building from a rampart. But I imagine it's just another one of those Vanguard shields that keep your units alive under there. Nice infiltrate going down. Now we have an infiltrate going down on the command posts here. That again takes out the top bar abilities. And these Helicarriers are doing the best they can to hold back this force with their bombing runs. But we see some of those bombers getting taken out as they fly out as well. Helicarriers, kind of like the carriers of the Protoss, they have these little bombers that live inside them that you gotta build individually and they can die. Another shield over here. And now these Helicarriers are trying to come out, but they're on top of Hedgehogs, and these Hedgehogs are sieged up. They got that great anti-air. Oh my god, this one's got a shield on it, luckily keeping it alive, but is it going to survive? That's a GG out of Albino in TheoRy. Team Aftermath going down in game number 1. Alright, here we are on Dust Devil in this third game, technically, of the best of 5, as the first match was spotted to Team Aftermath. And here we have on the right-hand side, Team Mixu and Elazer starring Guess what? Elazer and Mixu. That's right. And over on the left-hand side is Team afterMath with TheoRy and albino. Now I did that backwards, didn't I? Because they switched colors this time. They've switched colors. So TheoRy and albino are in the red and orange this time. And the blue and teal are for Team Mixu and Elazer. And it looks like we've got that fun opening here where we've got a dog and a Hexen running across the map to try and do some damage. Now, what's that skull doing? The skull did nothing. That's surprising. That's not normally what you're going to want to do. So we got a dog here. Dog on dog action. Albino's trying to chase Elazer away, or Mixu away, I should say. And we got a fast expo. I wonder if Mixu was able to spot that. Of course, Mixu is a smart player and ran the dog in and saw that there was no barracks. So that's usually a good enough sign that there's probably going to be a command post first. Back home here, we got Vault. We have a ritual chamber here, so that means there's a conclave somewhere. There it is. And we have Rex and a habitat back home here. So no fast command post out of Elazer or Mixu. But albino is taking that fast eco build. And that means we might see some pressure to try and contest this. Quick follow-up Rax here. And what do we see coming out of that? A Lancer? Yes, we have Lancers coming out of albino. And what's coming out here? Nothing. We got nothing. Absolutely nothing. What does that mean? I'm not certain, actually. We already have a good Lancer force with 4 dogs, or sorry, with a dog. And pushing Elazer, or Elazer and Mixu pushing into this Ethereum camp here. And okay, I guess Lancers can tank that Bruiser pretty well. Good to see, although it looks like a Fiend went down. Fiends aren't great at tanking the Bruiser. I think they take three shots and then they're splatted. And the Bruiser does attack pretty fast. So you can end up losing a lot of Fiends if you just do a Fiend surround and he's just smoking your Fiends. I like to get him to attack a Brute if I can, but even still, he can do pretty good damage. Now here we are on to this Expo, and we have a nice little force from TheoRy here of Gaunts that's trying to micro well up onto the high ground, but the Lancers are going to push all the way up, and this force is going all the way back, trying to get into the Imps, and yes, the Imps turning to fight. I think that's important. Make sure your Imps can fight. If you're already in your Imp line, you might as well have them turn and fight. Although, do we have a... Yeah, Plague Axes, remember that we had that fast ritual chamber. And so we are seeing Fiends being summoned here as a result. And now it looks like there's a sentry post that gets taken down. Another sentry post trying to go down. It's really kind of hard to see with these Brutes and Fiends and Gaunts who's on who's winning. But it does look like Teal, that's the Elazer's forces, are going to come out on top while we see a bit of a retreat here from the other ones. But now these Lancers are on top of the workers to get inside the mineral line. We do see the Luminite Imps turning to fight. They do alright DPS, but they also get shredded by Lancers, so it's not a great toe-to-toe. We do see a few other reinforcement popping out of the vault and out of the conclave, but they get taken out so quickly. The Imps are marching around like they're an army, because that's really all the army we see here. And this is not going well for TheoRy, and instead it looks like, yeah, almost all of his units taken out. They're now focusing the ritual chamber, which is interesting because the ritual, I think Plague Axes would already be done. We have the Buzzsaw Cannon up at the north, which is trying to guard so that the Imps can get mining again, but this army is like right inside the base. It's just sitting here destroying production. The Lancers are going to take out this conclave, and they're going to move on to the vault. And it's not clear how there can be a recovery here. This shrine down here on the low ground is going to go down too. And there goes that vault. Now there are 2 buzzsaw cannons up here, so there's going to be some stabilizing happening. But the shrine on the low ground went down, and it looks like Elazer and Mixu are retreating. Of course, they do know that this base is here. They could just rotate around. I wonder if that's what... Oh, yeah. This map, there's this dead end here. That's nothing. I think Elazer just keeps clicking and not noticing that that doesn't go anywhere. But these Lancers have rotated around. They find there is a sentry post here. It's now a flat cannon. This medtech's probably going to take a few pot shots. And again, that's not good. And these Lancers kind of zoned away here. Although it's 3 Lancers versus 2 Lancers and 2 Exos. I'm not really sure who wins that battle. Probably the Lancers and Exos is my guess. But these forces teaming up again or matching up. That means they're now going to win the battle if it happens. The Exos and Lancers show up and they see, oh, there's actually a lot here. Let's get out of here. Now, what's going on for TheoRy here? TheoRy, I guess, is saying I can rebuild the base. Give me 5 minutes and I'll be right back in this. Well, that means it's up to albino to hold off whatever pressure is going to happen in the next couple minutes while TheoRy tries to get back in it. And it's got a nice little force here, but not quite enough to deal with this, I don't think. Lots of Gaunts. Lots of Gaunts for Elazer. And they've now captured that speed camp. Where are they going to go with it? Ooh, right on top of these Gaunts, they're going down for free. Here's a shrine that's likely going to get a cancel. There's the cancel, and the imp goes down. We have effigies. They're going to focus the effigies for a second. It's one thing I really don't like about effigies is your units, if you're on attack move, they'll stop and fight them. If you want to get full DPS on an army, you actually have to make sure you're not focusing effigies. And okay, it looks like TheoRy did have enough Gaunts here to at least try and push back, but a really nice Nightfall infestation that's getting all those Gaunts as well as all of those imps, and that's a GG out of TheoRy. As we see some Atlases getting dropped down as well. Well, we got a GG out of TheoRy. Did we get a GG out of albino? Maybe albino's like, I don't need you. I can 2v1. I'm going to stabilize. Doesn't look like it. Alright, here we are back into game 4 of this best of 5. And let's see if I can call these correct this time. This looks like the orange-red side. So this is albino and TheoRy on Team afterMath. And they are Team afterMath because they are both on the same team, and that is Team afterMath, so that makes sense. Down here we have in the teal and blue Mixu and Elazer, and they are Team Mixu and Elazer. Even though they lost in the winners final to Team afterMath, 2-1 I believe it was, they have managed to get a 2-1 lead in this best of 5, even though the first map was spotted to Team afterMath. So that's 2 wins and no wins technically for Team afterMath. So Team afterMath has to get back in this. Of course, if they do win this game, they're going to force game 5. And that will be winner take all. Trying to do that harass on the imp again, but I think not managing to get one this time. That's another cool interaction that you can do in these team maps. Hexen alone is unlikely going to kill an imp or a bob. But when you got that dog DPS in there as well, it's kind of a fun combo. And again, I like this too. Creeping this camp, when you do it as a team, everything is better when you're part of a team. That's what I learned from the Lego movie. One of the best movies out there in terms of animated movies, in my opinion. Go check it out after today's cast if you really want a wholesome, family-friendly movie. Dog on dog action, some overcharged barbs going out. I think we know what they're about. They're not going for a surround. They're going for a command post. And that's not a fast command post, of course. There is a barracks back home. We have a shrine going out here for TheoRy. We saw this last game, and this sort of more expo macro did not work as well for them. They did get pressure and eventually had to abandon these expos. But it is an expo for Mixu as well. And I don't see Elazer, motioning towards doing an expo anywhere. And indeed, it looks like he's going Plague Axe Tech. And we've got a bunch of Fiends and a Brute and a Lancer, and they're going to go over here and take out the Therium camp. And again, you see how he microed his Fiends to bring them in second. That's just to hope that the target go on the Brute or the Lancer, so that the Bruiser and the Cleavers are not focusing on the Fiends, which will get taken out real quick. That way you preserve your Fiend army while just taking some damage on one of those more tanky units. So Albino's dog came and took this tower, which means he was able to spot all these units moving across the map. And the Fiends are out front, and they're going to go running right in and decide, wait, why am I here so early? Instead, we're going to get a nice scuffle here. Fiends, the Brutes, turn to fight, take a couple swipes, but then decide to get out of there. Let's try and get together. There's only like a single Lancer and dog here for Mixu. But Elazer's got a bunch of Gaunts sitting on that Shroud with his Plague Axe timing, trying to get some Fiends, but maybe just not enough. These Gaunts over here, not on the Shrouds, so not being able to get that Plague Axes, and now we have Brute splitting to summon some Fiends and get on top of the Gaunts. Those Gaunts are going to go down. Even though they ate the cabbage, sorry Mr. Gaunt, you're dead. These Gaunts want to take out the Fiends. But Fiend, oh wow, that's the difference of that last buff, I think. That many Fiends used to be able to take out those Gaunts, but now the Gaunts were able to survive. We got a single Weaver for TheoRy standing up on the high ground here, daring anyone to get close enough. I'll lash you into this flat cannon. The Gaunt Force now moving over here. Not sure what that's about. Maybe to rotate around to this base. We see the Hedgehogs coming down here. And they're on top of the Imps, but we do see a Shroud Stone manifest immediately. They rush out of there so they don't get taken out. More creeping. And again, team creeping is definitely the way to go. They're going to take out these units quicker, hopefully take less losses. Although those Gaunts were being really aggressive, and I think a couple of them went down. And here's a few Weaver that are a little bit, brave, I'll say, marching out this far forward. Oh, and this force finding one Lancer just caught a little bit out of position and taking it out. And we've got TheoRy's army over here trying to defend from the left. But we're starting to see this army rotate around and go for the natural here. Taking this camp first is a little bit of forward warning. I don't like that because it means that these units have time to get back. In fact, one of them warps back. And it looks like this force is just going to decide, no, we're going to retreat. Or we're going to at least not fight up the ramp. And maybe trying to get an interesting little flank with these trees. Yeah, the Hedgehogs try and cut around behind. One of those Hedgehogs getting lashed in, but managing to survive. It's still got a shield on, which means it's going to tank a lot of damage. Nightfall Infestation kind of whiffing, only getting 3 units. And, well, now we've got Gaunts and Hedgehogs up the ramp, focus firing down some of these front line, while the rest of the army from Albino and TheoRy is focused on fighting down Fiends mostly. It looks like Fiends and Brutes. So this is kind of a good exchange here, although retreating down to the low ground as that army pushes forward. The Exo's doing a pretty good job to pick off Gaunts as they retreat. And in fact, this force now is looking like it's needs to retreat and might not be able to. These exos. Oh, and focusing down the weak hedgehogs. One exo does go down as well. But that pushback from albino and TheoRy are actually good. They held, and they were able to whittle down that that force just a little bit there as they were retreating. Although we do see Elazer restabilizing, getting a larger gaunt force. That gaunt force almost, yeah, outnumbers TheoRy's. It looks like there's a manifest shroud stone. There's some infest on those gaunts, and they're going to go down. Some fiends being summoned, and it looks like, yeah, they're going to pull back, not wanting to fight into that. And instead, taking the vision camp, maybe waiting for some reinforcements to come down before pushing back. The hedgehogs, though, are going to move out. There's Graven being added. And where are the hedgehogs going to head? It looks like this army is going full retreat. It took this camp just to have some early morning. And it looks like the hedgehogs are... they're trying to leash those demons. The demons don't have the bugs, so the demons do go back where they're supposed to. One Graven with an infiltrate. I mentioned that infiltrate takes out the top bar ability. So no manifest shroud stones, no. But there's a bunch of static D going down here. TheoRy now knowing that that base has been scouted, and it's going to be a potential target. Still infiltrated. Wow, I didn't know how long those infiltrates last for, but that lasted a long time. These two Graven, maybe wanting to come back with another infiltrate and finish that off. And the... okay, interesting. I think they obviously reveal themselves when they attack, but I wonder if you can keep them from actually attacking and revealing themselves if units come in range. Maybe with hold position? I'm not sure. Because now they're just obviously free firing. Now that what we just saw there was Graven damage versus Gaunts. Gaunts are light. Gravens do extra damage to light. Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, 25 damage to light. So they just shred Gaunts. Looks like a lot of Weavers out here for TheoRy. And Weavers and Gaunts up against this Graven force that's also got a Vulcan and Hedgehogs. And it's bio, it looks like, out of albino. Albino putting down a scrapyard up here. And some scout fiends from Elazer. So this is definitely going to be more of a macro match here. It looks like a lot of Weavers out of Elazer too. So TheoRy and Elazer are going for that Weaver check. Whereas our two Vanguard players are opting for different tech paths. We've got Graven plus Mech versus largely bio. Okay, we got some alerts. Alert. I'm actually going to pay attention to the alerts this game because in most games every alert you see is going to be a misclick, but in this game the alerts might actually being used to alert. Here we have a bunch of Graven jumping on top. I don't know if that's great. A lot of them are going to get taken out. We hear their death knells. But they did manage to take out that base, and actually there's going to be a full retreat here. A nice Nightfall, or actually I thought that was Nightfall, that's not. Those are two sticky bombs going down. I assume just from the slow effect. I do like that the slow effect looks the same on all units, so that when if someone's got a slow, I know that's a slow. But that's a slow effect caused not by Nightfall Infestation, but caused by those sticky bombs instead. We now have Albino's army coming in here, so this little push into TheoRy's base has turned into a push back from TheoRy and Albino. And this base is starting to go down, and the army of Mixu is kind of trapped here. There's no way to retreat. You're up on the high ground here, and there's going to be focus fire on the command post. There's going to be some sticky bombs going down, but there's some friendly fire sticky bombs there. You don't want to do that unless you're in dire straits. And it looks like this force is going to go down as well as this army. Oh, actually, these Graven can teleport out. There's one dragon here on the high ground. And we got dragons. We've got helicarriers. We've got bio as well as a gaunt and brute force. This is looking like a nasty army. Ooh, look at all that plague breath on these bobs. And they're all going to go down and just donate more fiends to TheoRy's force. Sticky bombs going down, taking out a lot of fiends. Look at all those dead fiends in there. And now we're just going to go toe-to-toe. Graven and Gaunts trying to get in here to do their damage. This choke's causing a little bit of problems. The brutes are trying to push their way to the front. Meanwhile, we've got the Bioforce from Albino showing up, trying to get underneath these Weavers so that they can help support them. But there's just so many fiends now that have been spawned, and that's going to be a GG out of Mixu and Elazer. And here we are back in this final game of the best of 5 of this 2v2 tournament, Infolet number 2. And we have here in the orange and red Elazer and Mixu, who came out strong with 2 wins, but GG'd out of that last game to get this final match. And their opponent's team aftermath is albino and TheoRy in the blue and teal. And it looks like we got a and a vault, so similar to what we saw last time. And we have this dog and Hexen trying to get in here and be nasty, but I think after that first game as the surprise, they've done a good job of defending against this harass. This Hexen's trying to get up here on one of these imps, and look as they try and focus fire it down, but yeah, hokey pokey out of there, and the imp is microed, so that does not end up going down. Of course, a good trick for you to do with your imp, if it's getting focused like that in the early game, is go build a farm with it, because it will, it transforms itself into a farm. Of course, that's how imps work, much like drones from Zerg. And that way you can keep it alive, or at least get some benefit out of it. And if you don't even need a farm, once the harassment's done, you can cancel the farm and recover most of those resources, so you basically haven't really lost that imp. So the dog was trying to be annoying with this creeping, but TheoRy's Fiend Micro was good enough to tell Mixu, just buzz off, yo. You're not going to get anything here other than some fiends in your face. And Mixu's doing that sort of standard opening we've seen from him, which is we've got a dog and a lancer only. That's enough, he thinks. The lancer is pretty tough against these fiends, but the lancer is heading home because the dog is trying to capture the health camp, which it does. And now we're getting a pretty strong force coming across the map. What are they doing? Okay, they're going for the creep camp. That bruiser taken down real, or the brute taken down real fast by the cleavers, and the bruiser all focus firing it. Another brute comes in and is doing the tank. Doing a pretty good job of that tank, actually. Tanking the bruiser. And now we see that TheoRy's running over here trying to see what's going on. Maybe trying to get the last kill. And it's not clear who got the last kill there. I wish we could see. I wish we had some indicator. But nice attempt to try and harass, although it looks like they're going to push back. That is, Team Aftermath's going to retreat. And these fiends are trying to get a surround. Oh, nice block with the effigy and a surround. That was a crazy micro out of Elazer, getting all of those lancers. Wow. Summoning that effigy to block their movement, because it is a building and it does have collision. So that's really interesting. But now a lot of albino's lancers are gone, and it's just Mixu's lancers on top of these brutes. But with all those gaunts in the background helping out, wow, we have a few split brutes and a manifest shroud zone, and that might be enough to push this attack back, at least for now. They're now capturing the speed camp. They're rotating around where there is a semi-wall, taking out these fell hogs, and now being able to push in a little bit easier. Wedging themselves in that little gap there means that those brutes aren't going to be able to get as much surface area as they need to fight back. There is a buzzsaw cannon in the back that's helping out. Now that that farm goes down, there's definitely more surface area. That means those lancers have more space to work too. And it looks like they're going to just march right up the ramp, trying to avoid the buzzsaw cannon. Some fiends splitting and trying to get on top. But that's, like we saw before, fiends are just not as good against gaunts as they used to be. The same number of fiends are just going to be shredded as that used to be able to kill them. These lancers still causing a lot of trouble. They're in the base. Nightfall infestation trying to go down on them. Only catching 2, it looks like. Meanwhile, we've got to run up on this side as well. Trying to avoid those buzzsaw cannons, but getting on top of the minerals here. Mixu and Elazer doing some pretty serious damage. We've got overcharged bobs trying to put down another sentry post here so they can get another buzzsaw cannon, and sure enough they do, with repair coming from those overcharged bobs as well to try and put that cannon back up to full health. And now they're inside of TheoRy's mineral line as well. These lancers are just surviving for so long. The Weaver luckily got that DPS that could kind of push it off. Now what's going on over here? We had a laser also down here taking out the naturals, and it looks like this is just a rout down here. The Plague Axe is summoning a ton of fiends, and there is also a Vulcan here with a shield on it, just supporting this strong force. Now it looks like albino and TheoRy are going to try and push down into this, but look at how many fiends there are. The fiends just running up underneath the Weaver. And again, Weaver's not great against fiends, right? Lashing in the Vulcan, at least there's one good target for the Weavers, and they take it out. The buzzsaw cannon on the high ground here, still pretty good defense, but now it looks like Elazer and Mixu are going to dedicate to just taking out these natural. Focus fire down this shrine. It's certainly going to go out. The Weaver from the high ground, not sure what to do. And then same business over here. Bye-bye command post. Bye-bye barracks. Another buzzsaw cannon going down on the high ground. Knowing there's going to be a continuation of this push up. We saw a little dollar sign there. Does that mean he salvaged that barracks before it died? If so, cool. Get that money back. And what? Elazer and Mixu are like, that's it. We don't want to finish you off. You might be mostly dead, but I know you got some. And that's a GG coming out of Team afterMath. And that is a victory for Elazer and Mixu in the Infolet number 2 2v2 tournament. Good games to them, and congratulations to them coming out of the loser bracket to win it all.